Hey guys, Marsha Banners is back. So here I want to share with you some information up until version 3.8. So we will look in the theme. I have some information from the China side. I saw it, people circulating it around. So I'm not too sure who actually did it. So apologize for not putting the link to where that source is from. If you guys know, please send me the link so I can put it in the video description to basically credit the person that did it. So what we want to review here is Marsha still in the meta teams? But as you guys know, I don't do specifically like meta content. So the first thing I want to say here is if you got not enough sustain and you need one to clear focus flashback now, then you should pull for Marsha. If not, the best you can do is wait a little bit more, just one more week. This banner will last 2 weeks, so you have the time to actually check out, the next patch, and you can decide. Because like I mentioned in the previous video, when you're pulling, if you are actually pulling for the twins, you might end up wanting to get the afflator selector, and you might end up getting a beast selector where you can select Marsha there. But if you're not going for the twins, then you can see the performance and what you really need to clear the stages in the next patch before you decide if you need to pull Marsha right now or not. Okay, with that said, let us look a little bit into the outdated sustains. Here I will discuss about sustain, right? So outdated sustain that I will screen them out from my discussion later is Sotheby, Ezra, Babbles, and Madison Pocket. And then we have Villa and Fatutu. Villa and Fatutu is kind of like in between. They are still usable, and usable in the sense that they are still good for certain stages for certain meta teams. Okay, because later the list, Villa and Fatutu is still in the list. So yeah, they are kind of like in between, but again, most of the team right now doesn't use them. Okay, but here, just for clarification, you still can use this sustain if you want to get minimal clear for the contents that is available in the game. But if you want to go for high score, you want to be chasing those end game rewards, then yes, you technically won't be using them. This is the list. This list is based on the current Mane Bulletin in version 3.8, the team that does the most damage for each stage. Let us start with the first meta team, which is Ramona Poison at the bottom. They are using Marsha. So in a way, you can say Marsha is in the best team. But best in the sense that you're talking about higher portrait, that they do a lot of damage. Alright, so Ramona is there. And then the second team here is Liang Yue. Liang Yue kind of move on. She's not really using Marsha anymore. So you kind of have here the first team is actually with Villa. And then you have it Lopera. And Lopera is getting Euphoria. I'm not sure if she will be like a full-time sustain or more like Tooth Fairy. That she is more like a support but having some healing potential, right? Then we have Jay for Liang Yue. And for the Dynamo team, Corvus, Lucy, Broom, definitely they are using Enigma. Okay, nobody else. Miss Grace, which I consider her as ultimate team. And that being said, ultimate team, we also have Recollecta. They are better with Enigma and Charon. Okay, this one has to be Enigma and Charon, not Enigma alone. Because if you can't charge the pulsing field, then it wouldn't be as good. I'm gonna skip Jay. Jay is more like a sustain. And he is sustaining himself, right? So we can skip him. Then Nautica, but it's a bit crazy that he is in the meta list as a DPS and he's a sustain for himself. Okay, move on to Nautica, Blood Tie. So Blood Tie definitely using Rubuska, but the team on the right side is Fatutu. Then we have Anjo Broom, which uses Enigma because of Broom, which is Dynamo. And then you have Conduit, which here they put Regulars as the DPS. That definitely uses Ever Echoes. So you want to play the twins that is coming in the next patch, you gotta wait for Ever Echoes. And yeah, we really want to have Ever Echo for that team. Then we have Cornerstone, which is Repaw's team, and Repaw's team definitely J. Then Igor is also using J. Okay, but you can see the whole list here. There is a bunch of Rhiannon in here. And there's also Impromptu, which is higher up, like in place number 20 plus. So I didn't show it, but they are there. And that is definitely Keep Arena. Okay, Impromptu uses Keep Arena and not the other sustain. Okay, so with that said, here is the breakdown, right? Ramona uses Marsha, Liang Yue J, Dynamo Enigma, Miss Grace Enigma, Beryl, Marsha, but if the enemy does a lot of AoE damage, then you use J. Then 6, Nautica, Robuska. 7, Anjo, Broom, also Enigma. Recoleta, also Enigma. The twins, Conduit, uses Ever Echoes. Cornerstone, J, Paper Heron, Keep Arena. So you can see here, Enigma currently holds the best sustain in most of the team. He is the PIS, but a lot of it required Charon. Okay, please note, it's not like you just bring Enigma alone and you expect him to be the best. No, you want Charon to be in the party. But then one more thing, that this is based on the main bulletins. You need to remember, if you are fighting against enemy that do a lot of single target attack, Enigma would still be the better sustain. If they are doing a lot of AoE attack, then you wouldn't want to use Enigma, so Marsha or J will be better. In fact, Marsha, in terms of sustain potential, she is still the best for AoE attacks. The difference between Marsha and J, the main difference in terms of their support capability, is that Marsha focus on crit and crit damage, J focus more on damage bonus. So if you are using them in the team where they don't have much crit and crit damage, actually Marsha will be better. If you are against team that has high crit, then you can go for J, which provides a huge boost of damage bonus. So having said all that, should you pull for Marsha? Okay, first, if you have poison, but you got no Marsha, like you got Ramona, you got Willow, because earlier on for beginners, I did suggest you to get Ramona, Willow, and Tuesday. So now Marsha can complete your team. So I think Marsha will be a very good addition to you, because J doesn't provide anything for poison. Okay. Yes, J can inflict a lot of poison due to Tuesday's array, but it's still not as good as the crit and crit damage provided by Marsha. If you are missing Marsha for Lingering Glow, which I think you shouldn't, because if you have pulled for Beryl, why do you not have Marsha, right? So I think if you are really still missing, then you should definitely pull for Marsha. You can wait for J, but J's Euphoria won't be 70 days later, quite long of a wait, but it is what it is. Then finally ask yourself if you already have 3 more sustain that you can clear most of the content, then you can wait for J. Or else don't wait for J. 70 days is over 2 patches. You probably need sustain by them if you want to clear focused flashback. So do get Marsha. Okay, if you have more than 3 sustain, like you have Keep Arena, you have a very strong Impromptu team, you have Enigma with the Dynamo team, and then you have also Robuska for Nautica, then you may not need to get Marsha. You can just wait for J. Alright? Yeah, so that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.